It's me again. I hope that everybody's having a great day. Everybody should be in their cups, so to speak. Lots of emotional connections today. We're feeling the shadow of Venus going into Aquarius. I mean, moving from Aquarius into Pisces. Let's see. Look at some dates, right? Okay. So the 11th, yes. So the 11th, that is Wednesday tomorrow. That's when it's going to get real weird. Anyway, I would say that on the 7th, so the 7th, Mercury went into Pisces, and then tomorrow, Venus is going to go into Pisces. And Mars will enter Pisces in, I think, March. Yes, the beginning of March. As soon as that happens, we'll be very lined up. So I would say that right around the 3rd of March. So 3/3 is going to be auspicious. That's actually a really good day. Okay. Cool. For me, that means there's going to be a lot of energy movement. Yay. Hi, Bernadette. Yes. So if you're new to this show, this is Energy Decoded. If you have any questions about how energy works or what happens or feelings or emotions, all of those are energetic signatures and frequencies. Those energetic signatures and frequencies create the world that you live in. They create your experience. They allow you to tell the story of your experience. They give you evidence, all of those things, right? Learning to trust those. Hi, Alashia. Learning to trust all of the signals that you get, you first have to decipher which ones you no longer need to use in the way you've been using them. And that's why the deeper work is like upon us. If you have not, for the last 5 years, been in your cups a little bit about surface emotions and things that are going on, this will be a great hardship for you. If you've been into your emotions and you've been learning how to manage them, and you've been doing that healing work, that deep healing work, then it will be easier to navigate. You're already in your divine feminine. This is like being baptized into the divine feminine without a warning. All right. And the divine feminine is the movement of energy through feeling and emotion. All right. How you feel, what your intuition is, how your emotional response is, your emotional intelligence, your beliefs. Your beliefs are innate to your divine feminine energy. Right? 100%. Oh, that was so nice. I thought you were recognizing you had work to do. Okay, let me just take care of this little person right here. Okay, there we go. All right. Ooh, okay, great. Physically unable to move frequently. Is there some kind of energy that is causing that? It's usually stuck interpretations from previous experiences. Literally, that's what it is. It's an old story stuck in your cells that doesn't want to move anymore because you're not paying attention to it and telling it. So you have to clear it out. It's literally stuck in your physical body. So there's 3 parts to us, 3 different bodies that we work with. We work with our mind body, we work with our emotional body, our spiritual body, and we work with our physical body. So you ask yourself these questions. This is like a good way to assess what your experience is. You can ask yourself, all right, am I feeling this? All right. Am I knowing this? Okay. Is this locked in my physicality, right? And yes, because it's very dense energy right now. Yesterday, everybody had an overwhelming amount of love for everybody that they don't like. The energy is going to feel a little manic because you're capable. You're capable of all of these emotions. Okay. So if you're going to go into your emotions or go into something that you're noticing is of detriment, right? It's easier if you say to yourself, this is how I would like for my body to respond. Then you're giving a direction to your physical form through a thought and a feeling, and then you're coming together again. When you come together again, it's a mindfulness sort of practice, and then the energy usually moves. So let's do an exercise that might help to clear stuck energy passages, right? So your spine holds a lot of memory, okay? And because your spine holds a lot of memory, an ancient memory, not just you, but generational past life, yes, exactly, a lot, okay? And because there may be closed gates along the way, along the structure, you need to open them. How you open them is you breathe into them. All right. So your tailbone is like the beginning of the structure. So what you want to do is you want to kind of think about your tailbone and your root chakra. It's between your pubic bone and your anus. Okay. You want to think about where the tailbone ends, and you want to start to breathe into it. So you take a deep breath and down, right? Into the area. And you hold it and you think to yourself, please open gate 1. And then when you blow it out, you imagine the breath rising through your spine. You do it again. Keep it there. Envision a gate opening. See? Allow it to rise with the exhalation of breath. Okay. Breathe in. Now open. And then flow. And everybody got to about this far. Okay. So it's practice. It's a somatic practice to allow your gates to open, because that's where your life force energy flows through. All right. The physical aspect of it. Okay. It flows through your spinal juices and all of that. I have an NSA chiropractor friend that tells me about all kinds of stuff. So, yes. So it's actually really good. So you want to practice opening your gates. And you have 7 gates, same as the chakras. Isn't that amazing? But they're on your spine. And the first gate is about opening and connection. The second gate is around your sacral area or your lumbar, your lower lumbar. Okay. And then you have your upper lumbar. Then you have your thorax. Then you have like your neck or shoulders. And then you have your atlas. All right. So you think about these positions in the spinal column. All right. And you breathe into them because you're breathing intention into them. All right. Directive intention. Your breath is the physical aspect that you're introducing. The thought and emotion behind what you want to do create that trifecta energy that we talk about, the mind, body, spirit, mindfulness. Right now is the time energy, right? So what I'd like for you to do is let's try it again, okay? Because I'm feeling that everybody's doing it and they're moving the energy upward, right? And so as we move the energy upward through a breath, everybody is just at their solar plexus, right? Let's go ahead and introduce some color. Why not? Okay. Let's start with red. So breathe way down deep into red. Bring the red into the orange on the exhale, to yellow. Okay, great. Back into red. Up into orange, yellow, green. Bring that breath deep into that red. Deep as you can get it, and then push all of it up. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Again. Deep all along your spine, bringing it up from the tailbone, lower lumbar, upper lumbar, thorax, throat, neck, atlas, and release. Right? And you can feel it like right here. Okay? Let's do it again. Okay. One more really deep breath into the red, down at the tailbone. Hold it. Wake up all that energy. Wake up. Open my gate 1. Open gate 2. Open gate 3. Open gate 4. Open gate 5. Open gate 6. Open gate 7. Clear. See how that feels? And it is you taking control of how you want your energy to move. Okay. We're in a deep space of overwhelm. And because we've been taught to practice nothing, if it isn't instant, okay, that holds us in procrastination, and that keeps us in this locked position. All right. It does. It feels great, right? Isn't that nice? Because, like, you can really move the energy in your own body. That's what you're supposed to do. You're doing it anyway. Now you're just doing it on purpose. These are great somatic exercises. Somatic means that you have a physical aspect along with a breath aspect. The breath is the physicality, but you're also introducing mindful movements. So you're thinking about it and you're feeling into it. So you'll release emotions. Yes, you'll feel, yes, of course you feel empowered. And you'll feel like the energy move through your body. You're the one that's doing it. So even though I introduce a suggestion, and even though we're kind of all thinking along the same lines and we're in the same consciousness, you have your own individual interpretation of what you would like it to do. So even though we're all together and we're like, yeah, I would like for my energy to shift, we're all in agreement. We all want our energy to shift. In what direction? Well, better than where it's at. Okay, great. So now we're in this entrainment, right? And then we introduce a tool. When you introduce a tool, people can practice the tool how they like, and then they can do it themselves. And that's, for me, is more important. I would rather introduce things like that. I can always shift people's energy. See how everybody is moving into the energy now? Because you can feel how we're all everybody is here now. We've all arrived. Isn't that nice? You can feel all of us in the energy. And then when something feels a little heavy, because there's like some heaviness right here, right? Maybe what we want to do is we want to open up the crown space, and we'll just take the cap off and we'll put it in a little spirit acid or something, right? There. All right. We'll just allow ourselves to be in charge. That's what we're going to do. We're going to allow ourselves to be in charge. Okay. It takes time. And for a long time, we've given our power away. We've said, will you fix this? I have someone. I know someone. I think you could do it. And that's all well and good, yet that isn't how we build. That's not how we build community. I know that for me as a mom, and me growing up in the house that I did, I was taught to care for those around me and be attentive. Some of it was good, some of it was detrimental. It just raised me in a certain way. So when I had kids, I would just do it because I knew it had to get done. So a lot of people who have been in that position just do it because it has to get done. And we're not in that position now. Now we're taking our time and selecting what we feel needs attention. We're divining whether or not divining. Okay, we're using our divinity to figure stuff out. We're divining. We're using our intuition, how we move in the energy. We're literally using that now. And when we're stuck in a physical understanding or an unbalanced mind, body, spirit experience, and we're heavy into the physicality of it, it will begin not to move because we're not paying attention to the movement or flow of energy that we're using. The energy comes from how we feel. It comes from what we think. So if we're doing something, we're trying to create physical movement, but we're not paying attention to ourselves and where we're at with it, then it's going to feel stagnant, sluggish. It'll feel overwhelming. So you need tools. You need things that will help you solve rather than cope right? Because we don't really want to hang on to the energy of how it is. We would like for it to shift. Well, one of the 12 laws of the universe is transmutation, change. And energy can change just like your mind. All right? If you're focused in a direction and you've built a story that doesn't feel good, you did a great job because it's doing its job. It's doing exactly what you told it is. All right? You could do the same thing in a different direction and get a different result, or get the result from that interaction. And that's really how we experience ourselves. We experience ourselves 100%. I know we think it's all about other people because we don't get enough. What is enough? Tell me what that is. Show me the ruler that you're using, the benchmarks that haven't been hit. Okay? Tell me what enough is. Get it? It's a story. It's a story that disempowers you. You know, I had a friend come and visit me not too long ago from another country. And when they got here, they asked if they could go shopping because they wanted to pick some things up and take it back to their country because they don't have access to that. And I said, sure. So we go into a store and they're like, wow, just wow, wow. This is like, wow. And I'm like, it is, huh? They're like, yeah, this is wow. And we had just gone into like a strip mall, and there were a couple of stores. There was like Marshall's and a Target and a Five and Below and and a Burlington and see what I mean? And they were overwhelmed by what we think is normal, and that isn't normal. It's not normal to be sold to the way we're sold to. It's not normal. It is over the top, right? Anyway, anyway, one of the items was we were walking down a drink aisle, okay? And I go, yeah, just look at this one little thing right here. And all it is colored water and flavor. That's all it is. And it's just packaged differently. But look how many 28 different packages for the same thing, right? That's incredible. And we could do with less rather than more. We have enough. That's why we don't know what enough is. So when we start to look to see like what we have and what we can be grateful for, that puts it better into perspective, and it makes it easier instead of saying, oh, I don't have enough for this, I don't have enough for that. Start being grateful for what you have in the ways that you're able. Like, oh, I'm grateful that I ate today. I'm grateful that I ate today. I am on a very low budget and I just want to make sure that like I get food. And so I ate leftovers. I love leftovers. I love them because I've already paid for it. I love it because it's already made. I love it because it's convenient. It's there. So I'm happy about that stuff. So, I'm pretty happy. I make a lot of beans. I make a lot of beans from dried beans. And from the dried beans, I make different things, right? I'll make beans and I'll mash them. I'll make bean burgers. I'll make all kinds of stuff. Okay. And it's really how you look at it. It really is how you look at it. Can you be grateful for one potato, right? Can you be grateful for one key? Can you be grateful for one pair of pants, right? Oh, right? See? And that is where the energy will start moving better for us. It'll always move better for us then, because then you're satisfied and you feel safe. You've taken care of yourself. You're telling yourself you've taken care of yourself. And we do. That's why we keep showing up. All right? And you are geared to make things happen. You're the best choice for it because you're the one who's making the decision around it. Hoping somebody else is going to come in and swoop up what you're thinking about, that's like them doing the same thing, and you're not going anywhere. Why would they? So it really comes down to what you would like, and then articulating it from a place of knowing and feeling that you are enough, then it doesn't feel desperate. It doesn't feel like, oh, I need this to survive. I need this in order for me to be enough, right? Today I'm at a special time. Normally I'm at 4. Today I was out walking. Okay. I noticed that my body was weakening. Pardon me. And I'm getting older, and so I thought, oh, okay, it might be age. And I thought, oh, okay, well, what can I do about that? And I know that hydration is key. And I just learned, and I never noticed before, okay? I just learned that certain kinds of water make you thirsty, and certain kind of water make you quenched, right? And I was drinking a bottled water, and I switched, okay? I switched to a different water. And when I switched, I started to notice that my skin isn't dehydrated any longer. Your skin holds your muscles together, all right? And your muscles need hydration so that they can hold your skeleton up. Otherwise, they tighten. And when they tighten, what happens is that they shrink. When they shrink, they compress and put pressure on your joints. Your joints begin to break down. So hydration is like your best friend. Finding the right kind of hydration is what's key. Sometimes people can't drink water. They don't like the flavor. They don't think it's enough. They think they should have something else. And liquid is liquid, but water is like what your body's made of. Gel water is the best. So if you have chia seeds and you make a chia seed water and you let it set for a while, you can drink off of that, and that will fill your body, and it also rejuvenates your joints. So right, see? So depending on what kind of water, it's how it tastes to you. So if it leaves you with cotton mouth, it's not hydrating you. That's how you know. And it wasn't just recently. It was like a while ago that I switched the water, right? But the water that I found, I didn't know why I switched it, but now I understand. And it's because I felt like I had cotton mouth all the time. And it's your body that's telling you what is working and not working. Sometimes you could be heavily acidic. When you're heavily acidic, the alkaline in the water can balance you and not hydrate you. So you could drink alkaline water for days, and while your skin will restore itself, the cells, right? The acid in the body doesn't let you receive the water. So you have to eat a balanced diet, adding maybe a little bit of salt to what you're drinking, right? That'll help. A little bit of mineral, not a lot. And it's because you're trying to hydrate. So you're trying to keep the water, right? You're not trying to flush the system. That's the difference. But yeah, hydration is key. Plus, since we're going through all of this information weeding, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're weeding through all of our information about how we feel, what we think, what our beliefs are. And it's like a deluge of the tsunami of information that's come upon us. It isn't something that we don't know. It's stuff that's always been present. We just haven't necessarily looked at it. We've been distracted. And now the distractions are being removed. And as they're being removed, we're finding that we are our best information. That we are the ones that are going to help ourselves. We being, I will help myself, you'll help yourself in that way. And then we'll be able to help others. First, you. It needs to be you first, because then you'll know how to help other people. That's why. So you have to pay attention to yourself. If you're just giving, because there's so many fires around you, then you're coping. You're helping other people cope. You're enabling them to stay where they're at. And that's going to drain your resources, your energy. The reason it'll drain it is because you flow more energy, because you're also working on them for them. And it's unnecessary. If they're paying you, sure. Okay. All right. But you're still going to come into a coexistent, cohabitation, co-creative space of what they want. So they're going to draw from their own well what it is that they want. It's not going to come from you. So it really is about energy management. Okay. So today we opened our gates. I hope everybody is feeling a little bit more movement. All right. I went for a great walk. There's this little park over here, and I have my friend, my doctor friend, and she's like, "Hey, have you been to this park?" Anytime somebody says something like that to me, I know I'm in for it. And I said, "No, I haven't." And so she goes, "Come on." So we walk over there, and it has all these Nautilus machines, basically, that are there. And there's 6 movements. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but right now, strength training is very big, okay? Because of the distraction, we'll have a tendency to sit and be lethargic and not move a lot, okay? But you have to. You have to move so that the energy inside of you, the information inside of you moves, okay, and shifts. Got it? So push, pull, deadlift, rotation, squat, lunge, and those are your 6 movements. And you just figure out a combination of those every day and you'll be really good. All right? She does 40 reps. Today I did 30 and I was surprised that I did 30. I'll probably pay for it tomorrow, but that's all right. The other day I did 20, so I upped it by 10. It didn't harm me, so I guess I'll be all right. I'll just keep going, right? Now, if you're doing a push movement, you can do it with just energy and feel the resistance of the energy. If it's pull, you can play tug of war with the universe. If it's a deadlift, you're going to bend your knees a little bit, put your hands down there like you're picking up a 50-pound bar, and whatever that is, you're going to strengthen your core, right? And your thighs and your calves, right? And so it's easy. You don't necessarily need equipment. I was doing it without equipment. I do 20 minutes in the morning of those 6 exercises. And then today we went and I did more. So 20 minutes of those 6 exercises, that'll help your body. It'll create the movement that you're looking for, but it also, because it connects to purpose and intention, that's going to drive your physical body that has the feeling and emotional battery, right? The heart, to investigate what's best. How is my breath working? How do I feel about this? What would I like to do? What's my choice? That's the divine feminine. What are my choices? And then your masculine takes over your mind, your logic says, no, we're just going to do this, girl. And you're like, okay, let's go along. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I'll be back next Tuesday, but at 4 p.m. like I normally am. All the videos are on YouTube if you want to check them out. And I love you guys. I hope you have the best day ever. I'll see you tomorrow. By the way, there's like a listing of the shows on the bottom now. And so I have on Mondays at 11:30, I have like a meditation and a peace thing. And then on Tuesdays, Energy Decoded. On Wednesdays, we're doing free live channeled Ask and Aligns. That's what Sarah and I do. And then on Thursday morning, it's the reset. We do oracle cards, so that's a lot of fun. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be with Angie, and we're going to do the divine feminine. We're going to talk about intuition. We're going to talk about the movement of emotional energy and the frequency and how it affects who we are and what we do. Cool, huh? All right. Thanks. Have a great day.